So our next short is Shrek the Halls, and I gotta be honest, like, I think Scared Shrekless, I think, is more, out of the specials for Shrek, I think is more the one well known really rather than Shrek the Halls, at least in my opinion anyway.
Yeah, now to be fair, Shrek the Halls is its first Christmas special amongst the Shrek series, and also not the first time in which we've had a Shrek special. I mean, obviously there's Shrek Scared Shrekless, and then of course we had the Shrek 4D stuff, and as we mentioned last time, there was Donkey's Christmas Shrektacular. So yeah, I mean, it makes a lot of sense because around this time Shrek was the face of DreamWorks, and yeah, this came out in 2007, so this would have been shortly after the release of Shrek the Third.
Just the thing, Shrek was like, the lesser projects, compared to like, projects like the Prince of Egypt and like some of the other big things that they have. And, then Shrek basically became the phenomenon after, Mike Myers and, Eddie Murphy and, Cameron Diaz's performances as the main characters. And so I think, the fact that, they took this, and then all of a sudden, like, they wanted more, like, more and more, like, then we got, like, Shrek the Halls, Scared Shrekless, various other ones, even the sequels as well, that went all the way to, like, the fourth one, and then we're going to get a fifth one somewhere down the line, potentially, or maybe even a reboot. We're not too sure what's going on as of this podcast.
Right.
But, just starting with Shrek the Halls, so, the main premise of it is that, Donkey keeps reminding Shrek that Christmas is coming, and, like, he does it from day after day after day after day, and finally, like, the night before Christmas, effectively, that, he reminds him, and then, he said, oh, hey, I've got a whole thing planned, and then Fiona said, oh, yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing what you have doing, and then he realized that he's got nothing, so then he has to basically go on this epic journey to the store to, like, figure out how on earth to basically do Christmas, and he ends up in a bookstore, and they basically give him, like, what basically is Christmas for idiots, effectively, Christmas for village idiots, I think it's basically called.
Yes.
So, it's basically booked on, like, books for dummies, basically, if you're familiar with that series. So, he goes through it all and, tries to basically put on the best Christmas that he possibly can within such short notice. And, to be honest, for an ogre-esque kind of Christmas, he sort of kind of nails it, really, for him and his family. But there's a problem, though, is that there are more than people that are going to be involved in this party, which includes all of his friends, including Pinocchio, the three little pigs, Donkey himself, various other people who basically transform the Christmas and, make it into something that Shrek didn't originally, look at and also wanted to make special for himself. So, obviously, you can probably imagine, like, all of the plans go awry, everyone starts, like, going crazy, everyone has, like, a massive fallout, or, like, because, everyone wants to tell, like, their own version of the Christmas story, and, but the thing is that, the one thing I found really strange is that, Fiona and the babies decided, oh, no, well, we're going to go look for our friends. And, like, which I thought, given the fact that Fiona at the very beginning of the special said, oh, yeah, I'm looking forward to a family Christmas, but then says, oh, hang on a second, our family are also, like, our friends are also, like, part of our family, too.
I mean, to be fair,
yeah.
they have been throughout the course of the entire series. I mean, you have to remember there was the first three Shrek movies. Shrek Forever After didn't happen. So, yeah, I mean, we essentially have the first Shrek movie where the characters were brought in, but, again, they were kind of like drifters who were being kicked away by Lord Farquaad, and then eventually they started becoming friends around Shrek 2, and then Shrek the Third, in which they had this really close relationship with one another. So, I guess you could say that even though that they are this rambunctious group of fairy tale characters, they have become a really interesting, unconventional, yet loving, supporting family.
I guess so, like, but in the eyes of the audience, probably you and I probably would consider them that. I mean, would Shrek ever, like, consider them that? I mean, to be honest with you, there's part of me that sort of sides with Shrek a little bit to say, look, I just want to have, like, a quiet family Christmas, and, like, given the fact that, he's the father of the household, doesn't his opinion mean anything?
Yeah, I guess that's true.
I guess maybe Fiona, probably has different ideas, but maybe that's probably Shrek's flaw for, like, saying, oh, well, what type of Christmas do you have? And also basically putting it off to the last minute, effectively, to organize it all.
Yeah,
so,
I mean,
he's not taking into account everybody else in all of this.
Exactly, yeah, and he said that this was going to be, like, a major surprise for Fiona and the kids. So, for Fiona, she wants to have this elaborate Christmas party to spend with her friends and family. So, when Shrek basically just kicks them all out, saying, you're not welcome here, Fiona feels really heartbroken by this, saying, no, this is our family. We need to be able to be alongside them. And I guess for Shrek, this is his literal first Christmas that he ever had. Because,
you know what? Actually, that's the thing that actually, I actually forgot about this. like, because Shrek's had a really bad upbringing,
Yes.
basically, like, and you get to hear more about it, like, in the third movie, effectively, and so, when you've basically gone, here's the thing, I think once you've gone through all of that, and then you realize that, of course this is going to be Shrek's first Christmas, because, like, he's never really had a Christmas,
No.
so he doesn't really know what to do. In fact, he never even thought that he'd even have, a wife and kids,
No.
let alone anything else. He just thought he'd be on his own for the rest of his life.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, yeah, I mean, like, the great thing about this is that I think they got the chemistry of this exactly right, I think, in regards to a Christmas special, because you got Shrek, who's panicking at the end of Christmas, and he's never had a Christmas of his own, and now he finally gets one, and but then he realizes that he's not really thought about the fact that Fiona might have her own ideas about what the Christmas needs to be, and Shrek learns a lesson from it, effectively. Like, so I imagine the next Christmas that he hopefully has, that's he's not going to leave it all to the last minute. And that's next time he has a Christmas, he's actually going to be able to listen to other people's opinions on it.
Yeah, exactly, because he'll have a better understanding on what Christmas preparations that he needs to do.
Yeah. So, I mean, in regards to, like, this particular special, I mean, like, I think it's a good special.
I do agree. Yeah. I think that with Shrek, they're able to have a lot of interesting stories that they can be able to play around with, while at the same time stick to the original characters, their personalities, their quirks, and what they can be able to do to make an interesting twist on what would be everyday modern contemporary life. I mean, you even have, like, the villagers rushing around trying to gather up all the last minute things like groceries and presents, and what is essentially like a bookstore that's open and basically just has this book for village idiots, and then Shrek has to rely on that so that he can be able to put together a great Christmas.
Yeah, to be honest with you though, like, I mean, that kind of thing, like, we've seen Christmas specials like done that all the time, like, we've got to get the last Christmas gift, like, remember when in Arnold's Christmas, when, like, he had to get, like, do all the Christmas shopping for, like, the guy at the records, and the fact that he should be going, like, trying to look around for a nice somebody's snow boots.
Yep.
And he's been on the night of before Christmas, effectively, and so the specials have done this before, where, like, oh my god, got to get the last minute, like, preparations for Christmas. So this isn't anything new, but I think that aside, I think the idea that Shrek's never had a Christmas before, the idea that he's got to try and organize all this for, like, his family, the fact that he's now learned a lesson that he should incorporate everyone else's opinions before taking it upon himself to, like, organize Christmas for everybody. I think those aspects, I think, of the story, I think, are probably the best parts of it. I think
I do agree.
Cool. Okay, so Shrek the Halls.
Shrek the Halls. Fa la 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 la.